Good afternoon, comrades. This is your brother Jamala, also known as Brother Soldier, coming at you today with a special topic. It more or less leans more toward the spiritual um, side, so you don't really want to be uh, break bread on the spiritual realm, and then you're free to tune into us next time when we get on a more socio-economic platform stat or topic. So anyway, I just felt like I wanted to say something about um, the leadership that we're under as people, whether we be on the continent, whether we be in the diaspora, and some of the responsibilities that the leadership has toward us, and as a believer, as a people who are trying to practice a higher spiritual law other than the laws of the land. This is basically leaning toward that way. So there's a scripture that I wanted to read, and let me see. Let me look for this other one. Ephesians 6:12. I'm not going to quote it directly, but I'm going to come close to it. And Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Basically, it's saying that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers. But does that mean that flesh and blood is not involved? Well, it's telling you that is the power behind the fight. That is the source. The principalities and the powers, spiritual wickedness in high places. How those things influence us, how those things influence our government, how those things influence our leaders, how those things influence our enemies, how those things influence our people and our families, our friends. Those are the things they say we wrestle against. That is a spiritual message. The manifestations of those things that are in the spirit end up coming into the flesh. That's why you can see people get up and legislate against children and babies before they're born. People can get up and legislate against people who they consider subhuman or poor. They don't have a heart inclined toward them. That's why laws are in the land to make sure people are checked and people treat each other right. Otherwise, we have mass chaos. And even it gets to the point where wickedness gets so strong that even the laws are reshaped to justify something that was once wicked or once wrong. Then we have to live. The people who are trying to live right, who do not break laws as much as possible, who do not transgress against their neighbor, who do not commit adultery, who do not steal, who do not murder, who do not lie, cheat, bear false witness against their neighbor, covet their neighbor's things. Those kind of people are what you call the ones that are trying to do right. Whether they have their salvation with God or whether they don't, they're trying to do right. And the law should be able to protect those people and uphold those people to where those people feel happy. But see, when you get enough people who do not have the love of God in them or do not have the love where they can try to love their fellow man, you get those kind of people influencing laws, influencing government, influencing leadership positions. And it makes the struggle more intense. It makes the hardships grow. The yoke of bondage becomes heavier. The burden becomes unbearable. And then if you placate toward the people who seem to be tearing the country down or tearing the nation down or trying to overthrow morality and moral code, if you placate to that, it compounds the situation. It causes more confusion. And then you already have natural problems of people not being fed, people that are hungry, people that need shelter, people that need utilities, people that need counseling, people that need medicine. You already have these natural things. Why compound it with extra or miscellaneous affairs and more immoralities and things that you want to try to call moral? Why compound the situation and discourage the people who are already easily manageable people? In Isaiah 26:10 it says, if we let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will the wicked not learn righteousness? In the land of uprightness, will he deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of the Lord? Okay, maybe he doesn't believe in the Lord, but it has its message there. It is not, Proverbs 18:5, it says, it is not good to accept the person of the wicked to overthrow the righteous in judgment. So it's like you got people that are molesting children. You have people that are robbing, stealing, raping. If that is not enough, you got people who are addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to homosexuality, addicted to pornography. These things are the principalities and power, the things that we wrestle against. And we have to overcome these things. We can overcome these things through encouragement, through the power of God, through the power of Christ. We can overcome these things because that's what the Messiah came for. But in the midst of this, we still have things set up in the government where we still help people. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. We have different things out there helping people get a control of these vices. It's not to say that you're a terrible person because you're wrestling with these things, but this word right here, soldier, this is the way it's spelled. It's not the SOLDIER, but we have to be soldiers because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God. We have to thrive against these spiritual things that are oppressing us. These spirits of wickedness that come out from the pit of hell. They're not even good for humanity. And so we have these things that we wrestle against, and the laws of the land are seeming to now that they're bowing to these principalities and powers. I mean bowing. So what are you going to do with the people who are trying to do right, who are trying to live right? You discourage them? Should they leave the country? Should they continue to start renouncing their citizenship, leaving? Do they have to go somewhere else because the land does not uphold what they're supposed to uphold? There comes a time when a father has to rebuke his son or rebuke his daughter for the wrong error of their way because they love them. It may not be what the child wants at the time, but it's what the child needs. And there's a time when the laws of the land have to rebuke those things that are wrong, that go against nature and that goes against the fabric of the country. Not because you hate the people, not because you want to destroy them, but because it is wrong and it does not promote the majesty of what is divine. You've had many ministers come through the land and preach. Many prophets come and preach, come and go. Stay on the good track, stay on God's side, and keep God first. But some people, they can't do it. And you have to help them if they want the help. Otherwise, they perish. There's a scripture that says it's appointed to man once to die after this judgment. That's in Hebrews 9:27. So that means that right after we die, there's judgment, you know. And then they said in Luke 16:26, there's an impassable gulf or a big divide between those who die without God and those who die with God. Impassable gulf. Lazarus, the poor man, and the rich man that died, they both went separate ways. One was in torment, the rich man, and one was in the bosom of Abraham. So Christ talked about this story, and these people were able to see, hear, perceive in the next when they made that transition. And there was a big divide where they could not communicate with the righteous and the righteous with the wicked, because even while they were on earth, there's this big divide that was between the poor man and the rich man, where the poor man got crumbs and he couldn't get a good life, and neither did the rich man even cater to him or help him. And in the powers that be, whether it's on the continent for Africans and Black Africans, or whether it's on the diaspora, those people who fail to meet our needs and address our grievances will be like that rich man. They will give an account, and it's just a death away. It's not way at the end of the world. It's just a death away, just at your funeral, just right after that. That's the way that scripture reads. It's pretty scary to me, but you have to be able to give an account to the people who are doing right, the people who are doing wrong. You address them, you rebuke and correct them. You don't give in to them. You don't change the laws to accommodate them. You let them be soldiers and fight against those demons within to overcome them, whether you believe God or not. The alcoholic, you don't encourage him. You don't pass laws that say he can be a glutton alcoholic. You put restraints on that so that he can know what he has to measure up to. You put restraints on sexual immorality so they know what they have to measure up to. Be a real nation. Not just a placating nation. Don't sell out. Don't sell out your righteous people. I just read scriptures that talk about that. These are scriptures that come out of the Bible. Now I like to say scriptures because scriptures were around before the Bible of 1600s. Scriptures have been around for ages, back 300 AD after death. So I like to say scriptures because the scriptures were here long before they came to us in written form where we can have our own placed in the Bible. So anyway, those scriptures that says you got the righteous people who set the precedent of the countries. The righteous are the ones that keep a country thriving. The wicked bring the country into peril and storms and the righteous, the things that are right have to be the things that correct the things that are wrong. So I just came to say that when we all have God in us, whether we want to believe it or not, and when those things rise up inside of us that fight against slavery, that fight against colonization, that's the God in us that doesn't settle for that. That was a God in Moses that struck out against those Egyptians that were beating on that Israeli in that story. That's the God that rises up in a person. And I'm not saying, commit murder, but I'm saying it just saw that something was wicked about the situation, and his emotions got the best of him, and he reacted. May not have been the way for him to do it, but he knew that it was wrong. It's just that God that's in him. And so a lot of times the principalities and powers control people to do what is inhumane, to do what is ruthless, murderous, and some people equate our brothers in the struggle, like our brothers of African descent, sometimes equate manhood and masculinity with how brute they can be in identifying with conquest and beating down on their own people, which is not real. A man is going to protect his people in his community. A man's going to get out and protect and speak what is right. Speak to power when he has to speak to power. Speak to his community and his tribe. So anyway, my time is up. I just wanted to throw that out there so we can get on to our topic. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. God bless and peace.